Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. From now until June 17th, if you use this promo code, you will automatically be entered into a drawing to win a Modern Horizons booster box. Also, there is a way to enter the drawing with no purchase necessary. See the description below for the full details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another day of Modern Horizons previews. We're going to recap and analyze the cards that came out over the last 24 hours. Just a quick reminder, if you want to know the sources of these cards, just check out the description below. And also, if you're still looking to pick up a booster box of Modern Horizons, there is a link in the description as well as the comments below. If you go to FlipsideGaming.com and use the Heroes promo code, you can get one right now for $199.99. With that being said, let's get into it. The Horizon lands, okay, we talked about these like twice yesterday, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them or anything like that, but yesterday the photo that Wizards gave us was obscured, so if you wanted to see like the full flavor text and art, you really couldn't see that on all the cards, so I'm just going to leave that up here for a second. I won't talk about these anymore, I promise. For Savur Chu, this one is a Spanish language preview, and it's part of that cycle we've been following all week. If it's not your turn this time, you may exile a white card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. It is an enchantment with flash, and it's an anthem effect. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Okay, so this one is maybe not as exciting as some of the other ones we saw this week. The first issue I have with it is the hard cost is very high. 4 casting costs for an anthem effect doesn't feel really good to me. Sure, I might like to surprise my opponent from time to time with something like this, but ultimately, the type of deck that would like an anthem effect doesn't want to necessarily exile a white card out of their hand. Those type of decks want to keep pressure on, like a mono white aggro deck, for example, and this is just counterintuitive to that. Maybe I could play this in some commander decks. Anthem effects will always be good there, but I don't really see this in Modern. Ranger, Captain of Eos. This is a push mythic, no doubt. First off, nice little callback to Ranger of Eos, but this card is much better than that one, and here's why. 3 casting costs, 3/3, and look at these abilities. When this enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 1 or less, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. And sacrifice this. Your opponent can't cast non-creature spells this turn. Now, there's one other really big highlight I haven't mentioned yet. Look at the creature type. Human, soldier. So yes, this is a human. Will this see play in Modern Humans? Yes, I think it will. It might even see play in Legacy Humans, actually. You can search up things like Noble Hierarch or Champion of the Parish. So yes, a deck that was already really good could stand to get maybe a little bit better with this card. But there's also other decks out there that might want to play this. Things like Soul Sisters, Mono White Legends, Mono White Hate Bears. This could actually show up in a number of different places. I haven't even really talked much about that last effect yet. That's actually kind of interesting in the world of Modern because it can stop some things. Remember, once your opponent casts the spell, it's too late to really do something about it. But there are triggers out there that come before a cast. Things like the Snapcaster Mage trigger, for example, or miracles. If your opponent tries to miracle a Terminus, for example, because of the way those rules are written, you can actually stop that by sacrificing this. So there are practical uses for that sacrifice ability, and sure, your opponent might see it coming if it's on the battlefield, but at least it could slow them down. Is this a Weatherlight Captain? Okay, this card's kind of crazy. First, I do want to say quickly, I do think it's a little too dependent on board state for Modern. But Commander, wow, this is going to be an awesome Commander. 5-color color identity, the ability to search up legendary permanents and put them right into the battlefield. And this only costs you a white and 2 to get on the battlefield for the first time. 5-color Super Friends decks, 5-color legendary decks. You're going to see a lot of this card if you play Commander. Man of War, here's one you've seen a lot of. It's been reprinted a number of times. Vision, Starter 99, Portal, Battle Royale box set. Arena promo, not that one. Jace vs. Chandra, Elspeth vs. Kiora, Dual Decks Anthology, Eternal Masters, Masters 25. This is a great limited card. This will be fantastic, I'm sure, for Drafter Sealed. Don't really think it's going to do a whole lot in Modern, though. I think it's a tad bit slow. When you have access to things like Spell Queller out there, I don't know if this is going to stack up. Crypt Rats, here is another reprint. Now, this was from Visions in 7th edition. This did not have all that many printings. And this does see some pauper play in Orzhov Pestilence decks. Because of that, those original printings have a little value attached to them. The Visions one is about $1.80 or so right now, the 7th edition around $2. But that 7th edition foil is a $70 card. So this is a way to get a cheaper foil of this card if you've been looking for one. Like I said, good popper card, probably great in limited, but I do think it's a little slow for modern. Paying 3 for this and then having to pay the X on top of it or pay the X later just doesn't feel like where you want to be right now in the modern format. Dregscape Sliver. Okay, so you probably saw this on the title card, but slivers are back. A few things I wanted to mention though. First off, look at that art. They went back to the old style of sliver. I know a lot of fans preferred that to the newer style. Dregscape is on Grixis from Oyola. Does that mean slivers are on Oyola? Or did they just simply name this Dregscape because it has the Unearth ability? Well, I guess time will tell. We'll find out in the future, I'm sure. But let's talk about the card itself. We know what slivers can do. They can get out of hand really quick. Giving slivers in the graveyard Unearth for 2 is actually pretty good. The cost is reasonable, and you can go ahead and pull a couple key slivers out at the right time. They share their abilities, and you could have a really big turn just from that. There's also some ways to cheat Unearth a little bit, like you could use Hibernation Sliver, for example. If you can bounce slivers back to your hand or flicker them, remember Astro Drift is in the set too for limited strategies, then you can kind of get around the drawback of Unearth, and it could be really all upside for you sometimes. That's worth keeping in mind. Obviously, slivers are always going to be a force in Commander, so this will see Commander play. Will a card like this take the sliver deck from Modern or Legacy and turn it into a Tier 1 deck? Probably not. But remember, with slivers, it's not about one card, it's about what they do together. We're going to see more later, and I do think there's at least a possibility of a good modern sliver deck coming from what we see here, combined with what's already out there. This one's a Chinese simplified language preview, loosely translated Fire Breath. Okay, this one's really weird to me, a little reminiscent of Pyromancer Ascension, sure, but this is a very high-risk, high-reward card. If I'm playing Burn competitively, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, whatever, this could be amazing. I play this, my opponent's going to gain 10 life, but if I could go off with a bunch of instant and sorcery spells, they could just get buried in damage just really, really quickly. And if some of those spells are helping me see new cards, then sure, I could possibly win the game right after I play this. However, if I can't hit the right cards, or my opponent destroys this thing before I can really go off with, say, enough instants, then they just gain 10 life, and I probably just lost if I'm the Burn deck. Yeah, I don't know if I play this in competitive formats. There is such a risk. There's ways to mitigate it, and I'd like to sit down and test with this card and just see how consistent it is, because I could be wrong. You might be able to sit down and 8 times out of 10 actually just go off with it in the right deck build, but I don't know. I'm not feeling it yet. It's going to take a little convincing for me to get there. This could be very powerful, or it could be a big dud. Goblin Engineer. So this is a goblin. We've been seeing goblins all week, but on the surface, this feels like, okay, maybe I could tutor up a small artifact when it comes to converted mana cost. And you can, but it takes a little time. I play this for 2, go into my deck, pull out an artifact, put it in my graveyard. Then I have to wait till this doesn't have summoning sickness, pay a red, tap, sack another artifact, which I hope I have. Return target artifact card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If I already have something in my graveyard, well, wonderful, I guess. But if not, I can still search something up. Now, there's a lot of great targets for this in Modern. Ensnaring Bridge, Trinisphere. Imagine being able to search those up when you need them. That would be great. But I am a little worried about the consistency here. This feels a tad bit slow, I think, for Modern, but I'd at least want to test it out. Like I said, there are some really worthwhile things you could get with this. Also, you could create a nice little loop with like Ichor Wellspring if you could pull that off. That would be a lot of fun. This will be good in Commander. There's a lot of cool things you could do with it there. Maybe add it into a Duretti deck. Planebound Accomplice. Okay, this one's weird. A 1/3 creature for 3. It's a human wizard, but it has a sneak attack style ability built into it for Planeswalkers. Yeah, okay, for 1 red you can do this. Doesn't tap, so you could use this on multiple Planeswalkers in one turn. That's kind of interesting. Does this see Modern play? Maybe. Maybe if someone can really pull together a tight Planeswalker deck, this card could be a part of it. Now, this card gets really, really interesting, though, in Commander especially. Sure, I could play fair with this, whether I'm talking Modern or Commander, and it could be decent. I could throw Jace the Mind Sculptor down for just 1 red and Brainstorm. Or I could take a Planeswalker with a good minus ability like, say, Sarkhan Unbroken, put that right into play, get a 4/4 flyer. Feels pretty decent, too. Now, the real potential with this card, though, is if you play other cards in conjunction with it to make it more powerful. Again, maybe we're dabbling more into Commander here than Modern, but you could do things like play with Doubling Season or the Elder Spell, for example. Earlier we talked about blink effects like Astral Drift. That would make this card a lot better. So I do think first and foremost, this could be a really fun commander card. Like I said, though, I think it has a slight chance today in Modern, but maybe in the future as more cards enter the format, it could have a better chance to be strong. Regrowth. This is a French language preview. Of course, this is a reprint, and we've seen it many times. Alpha Beta Unlimited, Revised, there was a Judge promo, Heroes vs. Monsters, and of course, Masters 25, like you see on the left side of the screen there for translation purposes. Eternal Witness right now sees a lot of Modern play, but I think a lot of the decks that use that card appreciate the fact that it is also a creature. Collected Company, Vannifar decks, for example. With that being said, I think Regrowth could also see a little bit of Modern play. It just depends on the deck and what you want to do. Okay, this next one comes to us from a Portuguese language preview, loosely translated Scale Up. This one actually might be good in a couple different Modern decks. I would definitely try this out in Green-White Hexproof or Infect right off the bat. I think this card could just slide right into those decks and possibly make them better. Notice that the creature or creatures impacted by this do not lose their other abilities. This could be good in Commander too, maybe in a green deck with a lot of ways to pump creatures. Perhaps you're using the new God Eternal Ronas, for example, as your commander. Squirrel Nest. Alright, this one's a reprint originally from Odyssey and also in Conspiracy. The Odyssey one will run you about $1, but that foil from Odyssey is still around $200. Conspiracy under $1, the foil's about $4.50 there. Much more affordable. I don't really see this in Modern. I mean, you could try to build the Dryad Arbor Intruder Alarm combo, but that doesn't feel too realistic there. In Limited, though, I'll be happy to play this in Draft or Sealed. This will be a fantastic uncommon. Here's another Sliver with Tempered Sliver. I don't have a lot to say about this one that I didn't say about the previous one. I kind of feel the same way about it. I do think it's a very solid Sliver. This one does cost $3, though, so it's asking a little more when it comes to the competitive formats. But casually, this is going to be great. Slivers like to go wide. This rewards you for going wide. Also, I really like the fact that the art is a callback to Slith Predator. Etchings of the Chosen. Okay, this is interesting for Commander, I think, more than anything. I do think it's a little too slow for Modern, so I'll get that out of the way. But this could be fun in a few different tribal builds. Orzhov Vampires, for example, could be one of them. Teysa Karlov decks. They've been very popular in Commander. Here's a card that slides right into those. Or really anything you're trying to do that's kind of like an aristocrat-style theme in these colors. This could find a home there. So yeah, another interesting Commander card here, if nothing else. Wow, here we go. Sliver Zero, the first Sliver. This one is a mythic. This is maybe the best Sliver I've ever seen. Costs one of each color. Of course, legendary creature Sliver, 7/7, Cascade. Sliver spells you cast half Cascade. Yeah. So I could play this, Cascade into another Sliver, Cascade into more Slivers, Cascade into more Slivers. Crazy good. So if you play Slivers, if you love Slivers, you're having a really good day when you see something like this. An amazing Sliver Lord for Commander. Could this get there in Modern? I'm going to try. I think a lot of people are going to try, actually. My thought is the 5 casting cost of different colors could be a little bit awkward. But remember, there are things out there that could help you get there. And a Weft Sliver, for example. So there are ways to mitigate that, definitely. Can someone make a consistent enough build for a format like Modern? Time will tell. But there's at least a chance. Good Fortune Unicorn. Okay, could this see play in, say, Collected Company builds? I don't know, maybe. It does combo with Persist, so it will combo with like Kitchen Finks, but Vizier of Remedies does combo for last. And maybe you can throw a copy of this or two in there as a redundancy. I'd at least want to test it out, but I don't know if I'm sold on that yet. Although, again, I'm going to say this is definitely something I would play in Commander. You can put this in a counters deck, play it with Hardened Scales, Doubling Season, Atraxa, so on and so forth. This is also a very strong Draft or Sealed card. You're going to play a lot of creatures in those formats, and this is going to make them all a little bit better. Lava Belly Sliver, and this one, again, for 3 feels maybe a little slow for a competitive deck, but Commander Slivers, yup, all day long. Imagine playing this with Sliver Queen and Ashnod's Altar. Yeah, you'll be having a good day. Thundering Djinn, this feels a little expensive for Modern, considering it is a flying 3/4 for 5. It could put away a game under the right circumstances, but really, if you're drawing that many cards, you probably would have won that game anyway. Still could be good in Commander, though, if you're drawing a lot of cards. Definitely a card I'd be happy to pick up in Draft or Sealed. This will be a great uncommon in the air. Scrapyard Recombiner. Okay, here's a super pushed rare. Throw this right into Hardened Scales Affinity right now, and you'll be happy. Sure, you can't get Arcbound Ravager, but you can get Walking Ballista, Hangerback Walker, Arcbound Worker, and other cards with this. I think this can make Grinding Station decks more consistent, and I think it has a shot at Legacy and Vintage play too. Frostwalk Bastion, here's a snowland, and it's a creature snowland. It can turn into a 2/3 construct artifact. It takes no mana for it to become a creature until end of turn, but it also has an ability built in, which is nice. This would be nice in like a control build. The only thing I would say is I don't really feel like there's a place for it right now in Modern. Maybe in the future, if snow permanents become a bigger deal, we'll have to see what this set brings as well as future sets. At least right now, though, I would be happy to play this in Drafter Sealed. And again, if I'm trying to build around a snow theme in Commander, here's another card that will help me do that. Alright, with that being said, those are the cards for today. We're going to do the same thing tomorrow, so check back with us. We're going to look at everything that happens over the next 24 hours. But until then, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.